I never would have imagined that this movie would be the most difficult movie I've ever made.
It's been a difficult time making this movie, one of the hardest over the years.
So yeah, this is probably the biggest Deftones project we made so far. Also one of the longest one we made, but it's also the most epic in scale when it comes to story, acting, action, location, sets. Like, get ready for it, guys, because this is, for me, probably gonna be the best Clank movie ever made.
Hello, and welcome to the preview of Goldscar, a movie that is definitely drenched in old school nostalgia and spy flickness, as have been all Clank movies.
Clank and the Golden Scar is the name of a movie we've been trying to make for over 5 years. The story takes us to a fictional version of Stockholm where two agents under the alias of Clank are working for the CIS, the Central Intelligence of Scandinavia.
A story of duality, more like a story split into different people's point of view.
We hop between two different timelines where we see the differences on how these two agents, under the same codename that is, handle the same mission. Hunt down and find out the mystery behind Goldscar, a terrorist who's been around for 200 years, a bicentennial legend. Could this be a criminal who's actually been alive for 200 years, or is there something else going on behind the scenes? Well, this is how the Clanks prove their worth to their government in this story. Each battle and challenge is a way to push the characters to grow and to learn of who they are. The Golden Scar is not just a villain in the story, but also a metaphor. It's the mask, it's the front that we place and conceal our scars, our wounds that are very, very vulnerable. But we try to push through, we try to conceal it. This is the movie that really shows you who Clank is, and Eric as well, and tells you the whole story. We've been trying our best to do so much show, don't tell. We faulted in previous movies of explaining too much but not showing, and in this one I really wanted to show the backstory. This movie stands on its own. I didn't want people to have to do homework and go back and see the other ones to understand what this one was about. I wanted you to start fresh from here, so hopefully that can lead to the proposed final culmination arc, which is Dread Bullet, a movie that I initially wanted to make back in 2017 after the completion of Red Mosaic, but it was rejected at the time because it was deemed a bit too complicated and there wasn't enough engagement in our old Clank series we were making at the time. The Clank world was put on hold except for some short films, and we made other films at that time, including Cold Words and Paradise, El Santo Veleno, etc. In 2019 we conceived of this idea of going back in time and fleshing things out that we hadn't been able to explain before, and from there this movie grew. Clank and the Golden Scar was to be a bit more of a vintage retro movie initially, but the more we worked on it, the more personal it became and more serious it did become. Even including the character of Ephysio Cross, which is the dark version of Eric and Clank, what they could become if they go down the wrong path, which is a scary mercenary character played brilliantly by Håkan Akdag. We also have the introduction of Aina Schubert as Vivian in the film, who did a tremendous job bringing a lot of humanity to our movie. We were blessed to have the original cast from the old movies come back to play their respective characters in significant moments in the story, as well as including other new ones like Kevin Jimenez Bernal as Leon Geraldo, a very charming and strong presence as well. This has been the most difficult movie I've ever made, and it was never the intention of being so ambitious. More ambitious in the sense of what the story is. I was inhabited by the circumstances in my life and what the technical advances we had, and also just the limitations in finding the right way to achieve the scope that this movie needed to have.
Filmmaking has improved every project, every movie, every step of the way, but something that has decreased has been the willingness of assistance by others, which is very funny, because you think that one would just grow the other, but instead it hasn't, which is very unfortunate for us.
We were delayed by a pandemic, we were delayed by actors not being able to be part of it anymore, we were delayed because we lost locations, we lost a boat motor for a very complicated sequence we planned for a whole summer. The day we were there, we were ready to go, the weather was awful, people were feeling sick, and suddenly the motor wasn't there and we couldn't go on filming that day, and that was a huge setback again. When we couldn't continue on this movie, we tried to start making other movies, which wasn't the best idea in hindsight either, because that just put things in the back burner, and then that delayed the other movie, etc. It was a start-stop mentality to the whole thing, which was a big mistake, and I regret that now. Steadily since 2022 we were having a very good flow with the movie, and then we had another break, and then 2023 we had a lot of setbacks. I almost lost half of the footage, half of the movie was lost because of a technical error, not a human one. The computer went against me, as well as the editing program where a lot of the movie had already been sculpted. I know there's been a lot of jokes about Clank because it's an elevated continuity, it's escapism, and it isn't seen per se as a serious film, because it has the elements of an action-adventure movie. That's inherently a genre that means a lot to me, and that's why I'm telling this vulnerable story in the guise of the action-adventure.
If this is a genre and style that doesn't appeal to you, that's fine. Just don't mistake it for what it is, because we as her didn't when making it.
It may not have turned out the way I initially wanted to, but we've done our absolute best throughout these tremendous challenges, and I was almost ready to give up on making the movie sometimes, but the ghost in my mind told me otherwise, and I didn't need outside validation to continue pushing and making it. It was all on me. You know, I knew I would regret it for the rest of my life if we didn't finish this movie, and that's what we're doing now. We have a little bit left to do, and it's a race to the finish line, and if anyone out there wants to help, you're more than welcome to, and we're very, very grateful for all the support and help. It's meant the most in the world to us.
I'm most excited for like the different themes of this movie. We're gonna have so many different diverse action scenes. You're gonna, if you like shooting and close quarters action, you're gonna get that. If you like hand-to-hand combat, you're gonna get that. There's so much epicness in this movie coming up.
Thank you so much for watching. Clank and the Golden Scar is almost there. We even have an original song called The Golden Scar, sung by Jennifer Nilsson Perez, composed and written by Anjuli Kopta, an amazing musician who's collaborated with me on the music for the movie itself. I'm very, very relieved to inform that this is a wrap for Okan Aktag as a physical cross. It took 2 years longer than I ever anticipated or wanted, and I owe him so much for his devotion, and it's been a gift to collaborate. No, thank you. I can't wait to have this movie done soon, just working on the last touches and getting it out there.
Filming is almost done. We're so close to it, which means you are so much closer to being in the seat in the theater watching Clank and the Golden Scar.
Enjoy the drama for what it is, and enjoy the silliness for what it is, and enjoy the action for what it is. And if you can do that, you'll have yourself a good time.
The worst already happened, so we only got good stuff coming up from now on.
Alright, we'll have some words from David for the Golden Scar promo. Once again, thank you so much. See you soon.
Get ready. December 21st is the official release date of the movie.
And it's been...
Don't take everything so seriously.
Remember that comment on YouTube? It's stuck with us all this time. About the cameraman making Michael J. Fox look like he has steady hands.
Oh.
Jesus, right?